I know that the whole thing is about relationships. The whole thing is about relationships. Like, you need more relationships. If you don't have everything you want in life, 9 times out of 10 it's because you don't know the right people. So if you just knew the right people, you'd have everything you wanted, and you don't. So what does that mean? I don't know the right people. Okay, so who are the right people? And how do you start to meet them and hang around them and get them to know you, more importantly?
How do you get guests? I mean, what have you get some big guests.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I got Andrew Tate and Tristan coming. I got Jordan Peterson. I got Dan Pena. I got Michael Vick. I got this girl named Kinsey coming. I'm really excited about.
Yeah, like, we're hanging out next week. She's going to Maui.
Dude, I've never met her, but like, what an incredible
helicopter pilot,
person.
Real estate investor.
And the fact that she's female and a good-looking female is even better, because like, I don't know any females. Very few males are like that.
Yeah.
People are like, what are you, a misogynist? What is the difference? Dude, there's a difference.
Yeah.
Like, she's, in my mind, I'm thinking like, dude, this girl's incredible. Yeah. She's jumping out of planes. She's doing all this crazy stuff. She must have come from a successful family.
Yeah, I don't know her background. But
See, I'm interested. Like, you got to be from a rich family. Like, how in the hell are you learning all this shit at your young ass age?
Yeah.
And how are you willing to even do it?
Yeah.
Like, dude, you got to have some nerve. Did you see her wing walk?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, are you out your damn mind? She got up in the thing while they were flying. Like, dude, no way. Was she strapped in? Like, how'd she do that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even get in one of those planes, let alone wing walk one, let alone get into the apparatus in the air.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to strap me in on the ground and take off that way.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got her coming in. So I mean, I have a lot of very interesting people.
Yeah.
Coming.
How do you do that? I mean, is it you out there networking, building relationships, asking for people? Are they coming to you? Do you have people that?
A little of both. I don't have anyone going out there, but I mean, I just now brought on a guy who's starting to do that.
Okay.
And he's the one that brought me Kinsey.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is crazy, because I was scrolling through the internet and I ran into Kinsey.
Yeah.
I didn't even know who she was, but I thought, damn, she's got balls. And so I started looking at her page and I'm like, damn, like, this freaking girl's a freak. And then next thing you know, he knows her.
Yeah.
And I said, no shit. And I said, see if she'll be in the show. And he goes, she'd love to be. I go, she knows it? She goes, yeah, she knows who you are. I'm like, cool.
That's cool.
So I got her coming. I'm excited. But big names, hopefully this guy will start bringing some more bigger names, only to raise the profile of the show.
Yeah, do you know Nicole Arbor?
Yeah.
She's a comedian. Yeah.
I know exactly. She's been on the show.
Yeah, so she was just on this show a couple weeks ago. She went out to Maui and filmed out there. And we had this conversation about it, because she has a podcast, and talking about it's really hard to outsource your networking. And you met Stetson here. Stetson's over there. Stetson is in charge of bringing guests and doing that. But at the end of the day, like, people, like the high level networking, I feel like I have to do it. That's why I asked that question. It's like, is it something you can outsource? And I'd be curious to follow up with you in 6 months.
You can outsource. I believe you can outsource if you're famous. Because again, if everyone's heard of you, Stetson can do it.
Yes.
If no one's heard of you, might not be Stetson that needs to do it.
Yeah.
But like, when it comes to me, not everyone's heard of me. People think I have a bunch of followers, but like, in reality, I don't. Like, there's not that many. 1 million on Instagram isn't that really, that's a lot, but it's not really that many, is it?
She's got like 4.
She's got like, she's going on 4. And dude, what does she do? Like, I don't even know what she does.
Yeah.
But
real estate investing.
But look at, and again, we're not talking about real estate. I could care less. But there's another girl that I'm trying to get. I don't know her name. I got to go look on Instagram. But she's I would say, martial artist.
Okay.
You know who I'm talking about? I'll show you after the show. You're going to go, damn. Like, dude, I just want to see her because, like, and all she does is post her doing martial arts, but she's gorgeous, number one. Yeah. Number two, like, I haven't seen anything like that before. Like, so I want to talk to her. Yeah. And it's not because she's hot, because again, like, if Kinsey's hot too, a lot of these beautiful women, they can come on the show and it has no effect on me. Why? Well, because I'm married, number one. Number two, I wouldn't cheat on my wife no matter what. Like, you couldn't get me to. Yeah. So it isn't because they're hot, because I could care less about that. It's because they're interesting. Yeah. It's interesting to me. But no, if you're famous, like right now, if someone called you and said, hello, I work for Jordan Peterson, he would like to have you on the podcast. You're like,
okay.
Jordan Peterson?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
you know, but if I didn't know who you were, I'd be like, you know, I wonder who. Now I, however, get the credit for being somewhat of a celebrity, but I don't fancy myself one. So when someone calls me to be on their podcast, I usually just say, okay, if it seems to be a real podcast.
Yeah. In a shady parking lot of a warehouse.
Yeah, again, I mean, I don't know how I looked at this one and said yes or no. It was probably Stetson's closing ability.
He's a closer, right?
But I remember, I know I would not be here if you were a brand new beginning dude just wanting someone on your podcast.
Yep.
Normally, I'll say I'll be your 100th guest.
Yep. Yeah, I've said the same thing many times.
Yeah, if it's your 100th episode, I don't really care if you're famous or not. You know, everyone has to start somewhere.
Yeah, you stuck with it 100 times. You're my kind of person.
Yeah, and so I'll do it. I've done a lot of shows where, believe it or not, and it even freaks me out sometimes, I was the first real guest, and since I was on it, all these other people got on. Yeah. They told me, they said, dude, as soon as you did it, like, you know, Jordan Belfort did it, and I started getting all these people wanting to do it because you did it. And I said, really? They said, yeah, like they figured if you did it, it must be real.
Yep.
I'm like, well, cool.
Yeah, to go back to the pain thing you said earlier, we were trying really hard, and we failed at it. We were trying to get Arnold Schwarzenegger for episode 1 when we launched this show. And I was like, I will pay any amount. Like, I would have paid $250,000 to get Arnold to come. And I would fly to his living room. I would have set up.
He said no?
We just couldn't even get through the layers.
I'll get you to Arnold. You want me to get you to him, or is it too late?
It's not too late, but episode 1 is why I wanted to pay so much, because I was like, that would have established this, like, oh yeah, you know, Brandon had a big show before. He left for a year and just landed Arnold for show 1. Like, because Arnold doesn't do no like shows.
No, like David Letterman's. You ever see that show he does called? I forget, but it's David Letterman.
Yeah.
So he's getting Beyonce and Jay-Z and all these top people. Like, I always think, man, wouldn't that be cool just to be able to call and say, hey, I want to talk to you, and they'll show up.
Yeah.
So your last podcast, what was it called?
Called Bigger Pockets.
Yeah, I think I was on that.
Yeah, you might have been.
But it wasn't you I talked to.
Yeah, I was there. I took a year off, and they got 2 new hosts now, and we're still killing it. But yeah, it's still a big show.
Good. So now this one is going to dominate and annihilate.
This one's gonna kill it.
What's this one about?
Dude, this is about. It's funny. Something you said earlier, and I was going to pounce on it, but we went past it. Where you said, if you define what you want and you look for someone who has that, and then you just do what they do, you're going to get the results what they want. That was literally the pitch I had for this podcast. Was let's just find cool people who have what people want, and then ask them what they're doing, and then that way people know what to do. And so that literally was where the podcast was born. Was that same kind of 4-step framework. So.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to get much bigger than your last one.
I hope so.
I can tell you, I can promise you it will.
Well, the traveling podcast thing, again, investing heavily in video. Now, you do a lot of video stuff. Like it matters. Like social media.
Well, of course. Is there people out there thinking audio only is the answer?
Yeah, I mean, I know some people have an audio only podcast, and I'm like, it takes almost no more effort to turn the video camera on and use that for social.
What's their excuse? What do they say no?
A lot of them are, they just don't care. I just don't care about growth. I just don't care about growth.
Wow.
And I'm like, no, you're scared to turn the camera on yourself. But,
it's something.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't want to grow anymore.
Yeah.
Why do it then?
Yeah, why do it? Yeah, what's the point? I think it's people don't want to be on camera. I think there's people just afraid of seeing themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. All right, let's move on a little bit. How do you see this completely out of left field from what we've been talking about? Who or what is God to you? What's your faith like?
Well, I do believe that there is a God.
Okay.
I guess if that's what you want to call it. Because again, the word God isn't necessarily his name. Mm-hmm. It's more of a title. Mm-hmm. So a supreme being, a higher power, I believe there is. Why? Because we're too flawless. Think about it, dude. You cut your arm, your body sends platelets and heals, and who thought of that? Yeah. You think that's accidental? No way. No way, dude. We were all once an amoeba in some slime, and now there's giraffes and butterflies and tigers and elephants and rhinos, and they all came from that little amoeba. Bullshit. No way. It can't be that easy. So I think there is one. I don't think that we are flesh. I think that we are beings operating flesh. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So I do believe there's a higher power. I just don't know what it is or who it is.
Yeah.
And I'm ultimately seeking. I'm trying to find the answer.
Yeah. It's a very honest answer, man.
Well, again, I mean, it's the only thing I can tell you, because again, like, I could sit there and try and cater to all the Christians in the world, be like, yes, I totally believe Jesus is my Savior. He's my Lord and Savior. Jesus, you've heard of him?
Heard of him.
Well, his name's not Jesus, number one.
Sure.
His name was Yahshua.
Yeah.
But, well, now it was translated. No, you're listening to bullshit. It wasn't translated, and it wasn't transliterated. It was changed. His name was changed. His name is Yahshua. So anyway, if you know him so well and you love him so much, why won't you use his real name? Well, his name's Jesus to me. No, it isn't. It's Yahshua. Go look, go investigate, go seek, and you'll realize his name was Yahshua. Why are we calling him Jesus?
Why do you think?
Because someone changed his name.
Because it's easier to say, maybe?
Well, again, I mean, the story goes they were trying to change it into Greek, and to make them understand, which is transliteration, they changed it a little bit so they'd understand. Okay, I hear you, but why'd you change it? Well, so they'd understand. Who are you to change his name? If that's truly God, who are you to change his name? Don't change his name, especially when it says in one of the commandments, don't take my name in vain. Well, what's vain mean? It means to make meaningless and useless. If I say God, damn it, that's not taking his name in vain. Number one, God's not his name. Number two, that's not what it means. It means don't make it meaningless or useless. So how much more meaningless and useless can you make a name by not using it? Like, we're not going to use his actual name. Dude, he just said don't do that. Don't take my name in vain means don't make it meaningless, don't make it useless. And you're telling everyone, stop using it. Stop saying it. Say this instead. Well, I think, again, if you believe in God, then you believe in the devil. And so when people say, who did it? I think the devil did it.
Interesting.
I think Satan did it. He just got you to accidentally, not intentionally, stop using his name. And if you look at the scripture, there's a lot of them that talk about give power to his name and praise his name and thank his name and call upon his name. It's all about his name. So what is his name? And by the way, Jesus isn't God either, in my opinion. Now, people will argue that. Well, why? Well, if you ask me, he was on the cross, he looked up and he said, why hast thou forsaken me? According to the story.
Sure.
If that's true, who was he talking to? Himself? Would you have to ask yourself why you just did something?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah, no.
Would you have to ask yourself why you just did something?
No.
We've done it before though.
Yeah.
I smoked a bowl before, got stoned, and then I'm like, why the fuck did I do that? Right? But it's more rhetorical.
Sure.
I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have got stoned. But when I ask myself, why did I get stoned? I'm not asking somebody else.
Yeah.
Why? Because we wouldn't ask ourselves that.
Sure.
So when he said, why hast thou forsaken me? He's talking to the big man,
Sure.
the one who raised him. If that story's true, there's a God, and then there's Yahshua,
Yeah.
who has been appointed as our, we ain't going to him without going to him, according to that story. But again, there's Jews in this world. There's one right there. There's Jewish folks. They don't buy that at all.
Sure.
Well, who's right and who's wrong? I don't know, man. I'm trying to find the answers.
Sure.
So I've listened to Judaism. I've listened to Buddhism, and I've listened to, Muslims. I've read the Quran. I've read the Bible. I'm reading things. I'm seeking. So that's my answer. I don't know. But I know there's something. I do know that. And I ultimately believe, just inherently, that there's truth in all of them.
Yeah.
So there's truth in all of them.
I agree. Yeah.
Muslims aren't wrong.
Yep.
Jews aren't wrong. Christians aren't wrong. I think there's truth in every single one of them that's splintered from the truth. So I think we're so far removed from the truth that all these people are fighting and arguing over what's real. And what's real is the truth, and that's the only thing real. And the rest of it is someone's version of the truth, and it's caused all this,
Yeah, there's a great phrase I've heard. It says that all truth is God's truth, and I like that phrase. Meaning, like, if Muslims believe that it's wrong to murder, that's God's truth. It doesn't matter if a Muslim believes it, or a Buddhist believes it, or a Christian believes it. Truth is higher than the religious belief of it. It doesn't mean that every single thing a religion believes is necessarily true, because there's crazy beliefs out there in pretty much every religion. But if it's true, that's God's truth. And then you can say, is that God? Is God just...
Religion is man-made.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, religion is our attempt to try to, reach to God versus the relationship of God reaching to us, which is more of spirituality, I guess you could define it as.
And I like to hedge my bets. You know what I'm saying? So like, for example, when I was a kid, I would go into the little church booth at the county fair and take Jesus into my heart as my Lord and Savior.
Sure.
And according to the scripture, according to the story, if I do that, he will never leave.
Sure.
That's what I've been told. Have you ever been told that?
I'm a Christian. Dude.
Okay, so have you ever been told that? If you accept him as your Lord and Savior, he will never leave.
I've been told that. I don't know if I believe
That's what he says. Well, again, you got to choose what you believe, I guess. But if that's the truth, well, then I'm good.
Yeah. There's if you believe on the Lord, you'll be saved. Well, what does that mean to believe on the Lord? It doesn't mean necessarily believe in the Lord. Believe on the Lord.
He also, the scripture also says, thou shalt not judge, but yet we all do.
Yeah. We all judge all the time.
So,
yeah,
if you really believed, don't do what he's saying not to do. So do you really believe? Because if you really believed and he said don't judge, what are you doing judging? Yeah. Well, we all fall short. No, that's an excuse. It's an excuse because we all do fall short. Well, isn't that the whole story? Yeah. We're all so terrible and bad and will never be good that God gave his only begotten Son to clear us of all the sins so we could be with him again. Wonderful. Love that story. Yeah. Is it true? Don't know yet. Yeah. Do you have faith? I do have faith. Like if I died right now and someone I had to pick, I'd pick that one.
Sure.
I'd pick Jesus if I died right now.
Well, and part of that is because, have you heard of Pascal's wager? No. It's this idea, I heard actually about this with global warming, but it's this idea of, okay, let's say, and I know people can't necessarily say what I'm drawing here, imagine there's 4 boxes. I saw this, again, for global warming, but it applies to Jesus. And you say there's 2 possibilities that exist. Global warming is true, or it's not true. And then you have 2 options on the left side here. You can do something about it, or you could not do something about it. Those are the only 4 options that really exist. It's true or not true, you can do something or not do something. And they said, okay, well, if global warming is true and you do something about it, great, we save the world. If global warming is not true and you do something about it, well, who cares? We still have, we're healthy, we have a healthy Earth, even though it wasn't going to be destroyed anyway. But if global warming is true and we don't do anything, the world just dies. And if it's not true and we do nothing, well, nothing happens. So in other words, there's only one possibility in 4 that the world completely implodes, and that is if we just don't do anything about it. So the argument is we should pretend that global warming exists and do something about it, even if it doesn't, because it's better than nothing else. That same argument is what Pascal's wager is about God. In other words,
hedging your bet.
You're hedging your bet, right? And I'm not saying this is why I believe in Jesus and God.
That I will say that is a big reason why I do, because it'd be stupid not to.
Yeah.
If it's real and you're wrong, you're done.
You're done. Yeah.
If it's wrong and it's not real and you believe it, there's nothing. Yep. There's nothing.
Yeah. But if it is true, and Christianity is the only religion really is the only religion that has a really bad option if you're wrong. Right, like every other religion, generally speaking, is either there is no afterlife, or it's a nihilist. Like you disappear. What's the word I'm looking for? Nihilism. What? Nihilism. Like nihilism. There's nothing else. There's nothing there. But then there's like it's over. But Christianity, if you're wrong, it's like, okay, well, there's hell for eternity. Well, that sucks. It's like I never want to convince somebody to believe in Jesus.
I know, but I also believe that people's description of hell has been altered.
It is altered.
I don't believe you're going to burn in a lake of fire forever.
Yeah, you may not.
I don't think you will. I think quote unquote hell would be not living with God once you realize he did exist and you could have been there, but you can't be because you didn't.
Yeah,
and that is hell.
It's the absence of God.
That would be hell, but it's not burning. And because again, dude, think about it. If you had children and you said, "Hey guys, clean your room," and they didn't clean their room, and they didn't clean their room, and they didn't clean their room, and then you want to have them burn in hell?
Not at all.
If you love them,
not
doesn't he love us?
Yep.
Why would he want us to burn in hell? Meaning pain and suffering for life, forever.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. Now again, if God is real, I do not believe that he wants us to burn in hell because we didn't choose him. Especially, how would we know to choose him? Where's the evidence of him? People are, well, what do you mean? Well, dude, why doesn't he just open up the sky and say, hey, dumb fucks, I exist? Well, he wants you to give you free will and free choice, so you go to him on your own. Well, then who's influencing me? Who's telling me the stories? What if there's somebody out in the middle of nowhere that's never heard the story? They go to hell and God loves us all? No. God is not going to do that to us. I don't care what anyone on earth tells me. You know, the pastor tells you, oh, you better go or you're going to go to hell. That's your version. I don't really believe that. If that's the truth, dude, we're in some big trouble, most of us.
There's a great quote from C.S. Lewis. He says, if hell is locked, it's locked from the inside. And I really like that quote. If hell exists in the way that most Christians believe, that it's a fiery lake of hell, C.S. Lewis says, if that is true and it's locked and you can't get out, it's only locked because they locked it on the inside and they won't come out. And I think it's an interesting perspective of it kind of reconciles those two thoughts in my head of, you know, I'm not saying that's true necessarily, but I like that thought of if hell is eternal fire, they're choosing to stay there. And why they would do that, I have no idea. And I'm okay with the unknowns. Like Jesus, God, Holy Spirit, how does the Trinity work? I have no idea.
Well, I believe I'm more loved than anyone from God. Or maybe equally, but maybe not more. But I do believe I'm, like most people get an angel to protect them, I was assigned 4 minimum. Because like, dude, I'm the luckiest guy on the planet. Yeah. I'm literally so lucky, it's unbelievable. I am blessed beyond the normal person. Yeah. And why is that? Well, I don't know. Why is that? But if you believe in God, well, I would say that maybe he favors me more. I don't know. Yeah. Well, what does that mean, Brad? You think you're something? No, I say that like the scripture says, you'll know his children by their fruits.
Maybe he's calling you in.
But look at my fruits.
Maybe he's pulling you in with goodies.
But again, look at my fruits.
Yeah.
What are my fruits? Beautiful children, beautiful business, beautiful health, beautiful life. We're lucky. Yeah. We're and by the way, this is abundance thinking. Yeah. I'm just using that in the religious realm where I must be blessed. And if I am blessed, why isn't everybody? Well, God works in mysterious ways. Quit saying that shit. You just don't have the answer. Why don't you say, I don't know? Because the truth is, we don't know. And when you say, what do you think? I don't know. That's the truth. I don't know. What do I want to believe? I want to believe that there's a God, and when we die, we float around heaven, and everybody's magical, and there's no pain and suffering, and I'll see all the people that I miss and love, and yak, yak, yak. What's real? I don't know. I don't think anyone does.
No, I agree. And so, yeah, like you, I'm like, okay, I don't know. I don't understand the hell. I don't understand the Trinity. I don't understand any of that stuff. But I like this. And it's kind of like this. What's the best business to start? I'm like, I don't know. What's the best real estate to buy? I don't know. I'm going to pick that one and I'm going to go all in. I'm like, I'm just going to be the best at that thing.
And what's the worst that can happen if you're wrong?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm going to go all in on Jesus because I'm like, I like that one. I feel like I've been, it's been confirmed, and you can say, oh, those are coincidences. Maybe, maybe not. But it sure feels like I've been blessed, and the more that I'm in it, the more that I believe it.
Could be placebo, too.
It could be placebo, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, and at the end of life, we're going to figure it out, or I'm not going to figure it out. Either way, I'm in a good spot. So.
Well, I have a feeling that it's true.
Yeah.
My intuition tells me it's true. When you die, your energy, your spirit, your being does not die. Yeah. Your body does. Yes. And once your body goes, where does your spirit go? Where does your energy go? I don't think it goes to a burning lake of hell. I think it goes somewhere else. Yeah. And whether or not you have a memory, I don't know. Because how do you explain reincarnation? How do you explain people that like are 6-year-old kids and they remember being a fighter pilot, and all the evidence points out that kid must have been that person in a past life? You believe in past lives?
I don't.
Reincarnation. Go start looking at it. You'll go, wow, like that's hard to explain. Yeah. Exactly. Like I don't know. Yeah. How do you explain to a Jewish guy that they're wrong? How do you explain to a Muslim that they're wrong? Yeah. That's why when people say, ultimately, I joke around with it, but they say, what religion are you? I say I'm a Krishuslam Jew. I'm a Krishuslam Jew. What does that mean? I believe in all of them.
Yeah.
And I have read the Quran, and let me tell you something, dude, there's some good stuff in the Quran.
Great stuff.
And there's some good stuff in the Torah. But there's also a missing chapter in the Torah that Jewish people are not allowed to look at. And I don't like that. Why? Well, why would you hide a chapter? Why would you hide a book? And by the way, the ones that do read it end up becoming what they call, Jews for Jesus, meaning they go towards Jesus, a lot of them that read that book. So why'd you leave it out? I don't understand. And then when you start really looking, the Bible, King James, whatever version, most of them are changed.
Sure.
And they're omitted, or there's omissions. And it's like the King James version. Why does he get his own version? Well, because he's the king. That's his version. Version of what? The truth. Exactly. So now I'm starting to think, okay, so these Bibles are really just, time's attempt to tell us the facts. Yeah. And they've got to be, manipulated by man over the years. So when I read them like that, like not so sure that that's the truth, just because this old pastor, who's humping little kids, by the way, is telling me that it's the truth. See what I'm saying? Yeah, dude, you're gonna let a dude that humps little boys tell me that I can't do these things because this book says so? How come he ain't following it? And more importantly, when you find out he ain't following it, why are you moving him to a different church? Yeah. Why wouldn't he be out? How could you let that happen? Yeah. So again, it makes me question. People are like, well, that's Catholic Church. No, it's a lot more than just Catholic churches. They're just the more famous ones of doing it. It happens in all the churches, I would think. Yeah. So again, what do I believe? I don't know. I like the honesty, man. That's good. It's a good talk. All right, man, we're going to start moving towards the end. First of all, every episode we throw in an ad, and one thing we do on the show is all the ad revenue, 100% of this ad revenue from the show go toward a charity of your choice. So where are we throwing all the money from this episode? The Brad Lee Foundation.
Is that your bank account? Or is
yeah,
that a real foundation?
That's the Brad Lee Foundation, dude.
What?
Hey, you give me the money, and then I'll go help whoever I feel like helping. Which, by the way, I'm a good steward of
when you give it somebody good?
Well, hopefully it's substantial. I can give it to a whole bunch of people.
It depends on how big this show goes.
But in reality, anything that has to do with abused children. Okay, yeah. Because that's like when someone says, Brad, who would you help? I would help the abused children, these trafficked children, these the Sound of Freedom. Everybody needs to go watch that movie, with an open mind. How are millions of kids disappearing, and nobody cares, and nobody wants to demand answers? And when in reality, America is one of the biggest buyers of them. What? Like, come on, man. These are kids, dude. I want to help little children that can't help themselves. I believe children, number one, women second. Why women? Because again, to me, women are there's some of them, they'll kick your ass, but most of them, I think a man's job is to provide and protect. Yep. So I got a video that went pretty viral when I said, if your girl outspends your income, you need to make more money. And there was guys that had a problem with that. It's like, dude, just admit you don't know how to make more money. Don't be mad because the answer is you should be making more money. Yeah. Like my wife doesn't have a budget. She can spend whatever she wants to spend. Why? Because we're one, and that's her money too. Yep. And if she's outspending me, I need to go make more money. Oh, that's a simp. That's a bitch move. That's just my opinion. I think the man should provide and protect women and children. Now, out of the two, children. Someone asked me earlier, if you had to pick someone to die, your wife or your children, who would you pick? And I said, my wife. They're like, oh, what if she watches this? It's the truth.
And that's what she'd want to.
I guarantee you, dude, listen, if my wife, and I hope she loves me, and why I say hope, I don't know she does, because I'm not an idiot, dude. There could be freaking neighbors banging your wife, you don't even know it. But at the end of the day, if I asked my wife and she had to tell the truth, if her children must die or her husband must die, I promise you her answer would be my husband.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so I just tell the truth. My wife would die if I had to choose. Yeah. Thank God I don't have to choose.
Just because we don't like something doesn't mean it's not true.
Yeah, thank God I don't have to choose. But I don't know where I was going with that, but it's
human trafficking.
It's the truth. But that's why if that money needs to go to help people, and it really does go to help people. Because a lot of these charities, they're not helping anybody. You know when you go to the store and you swipe your card and it says, hey, you want to give $10 to do this?
I never do.
Well, I always do because I don't. Yeah, because
I never do because I always assume they're just going to take that money and some rich CEO.
Yeah, well, again, maybe. I always wonder too, like, does the store even give it to anybody, or
I
do they
wonder
just
that too.
collect it?
Yep, I have no
But
idea.
I always give it because, you know, there's an abundance of money and,
Okay.
you know, I have no shortage. So why would I not give? And maybe that's why I have.
Maybe. I 100% believe that. Like, the most generous people I know just get richer and richer.
I had a couple people see me give $100 to a bum, and people are like, you know, you don't call them bums, you know what I'm talking about, homeless dude.
Yeah.
And I give them $100, and then one will ask, and I'll say no. And then one will ask, I'll say no. Then one will ask, I'll be like, yeah, here you go, $100. I had a buddy one time say, dude, how do you choose who to give it to? And I said, and I meant to him, I'm not the one choosing.
Yeah.
He goes, what do you mean? I go, dude, something tells me when to do it and when not to do it. And I think that's God. That's the higher power. Like, God wanted me to give that $100. I didn't give $100. God gave $100. And it's weird, but that's just what I believe, because sometimes I feel like giving and sometimes I say no.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why I don't. I mean, there's no difference. But to me, I'm not the one giving the money. So to answer your question, I would give it to somebody that helps abused and trafficked, not both, but one or the other, children. And if they truly help people, I would want you to give it all to them. If they don't truly help people, I'd want you to give it to me so I can use it. I'll use it.
Let me tell you, I love that you said this, because you wouldn't have known this going into this.
And by the way, I don't think it takes billions of dollars. I think it takes some fucking accountability and some common sense and a little bit of money.
Yes, I agree. But what my biggest passion going forward, again, I got lots of real estate, lots of wealth, whatever. But it's like, how do we get entrepreneurs, guys that know how to build businesses like you, like me? How do we get us making money for the charity? Because charities suck at making money. They're really bad at it. They just live on donations. So anyway, the big thing, I'm like, how do we build more things like this? The Better Life Tribe. How do we make a business that can make $50 or $100 million a year and then give that away to charity? So anyway, that's where my heart is.
It's only $300 a month to be part of your deal. Why don't you initiate $300 a month as membership and $300 a month donation?
That's not a bad idea. We should probably do that.
Anybody paying you $300 a month, I guarantee you would not have a problem giving you $300 if they knew it's going to help kids.
100%.
And if they do, kick them the fuck out.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because, dude, in my opinion, if you ain't down with that, that's because you're fucking them too, you little fucking weirdo.
Dude, that's actually good. I mean, it goes with what you said earlier, but just double your price. Like, if we're like, okay, you can give 300, give 600. Like,
Dude, first of all, $300 a month is chump change for a mastermind. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, we meant to make it low price because I wanted to go wide versus deep. If we have a deep version, we'll have eventually. If
you just sent out something that said, hey, we're gonna institute a new $300 a month donation for $300. So we're gonna match your membership fee. Now $300 you must donate to be a member, because if you're not willing to donate, dude, are they really the tribe? Are they or not?
Great question.
Dude, if I had a tribe of people and I found out you wouldn't donate, dude, you ain't my tribe.
You ain't my tribe. You're not my people.
So go find your own tribe. My tribe donates, and it's $300. It's nothing. So it's almost a gesture, and you would instantly have that much more money to help. Which is, if it's all going there, then why not? And I again, I mean, to me, how long are you in town?
Till Friday-ish.
Why don't you come do my podcast, and let's just get a whole bunch of people in my listener base into your tribe. Because like, that's a freaking you're not vetting people at $300 a month, are you?
Yeah, it's not. We're gonna have a higher tier right now. It's anybody can come in at the lower tier, and then we'll have a higher tier eventually. Yeah, and it's all gonna go to charity.
See, well, that's how I can help you. Make more money for kids, as long as it's going to kids. Because if you give $50 million to a company that gives 5% towards kids and 95% towards the crew that's doing it, I don't dig that at all. Again, I mean, like, people talk about Tim Ballard. He's a great guy and he does all this. I've never met him. I hope he's a great guy. But I always think to myself, like, and not to use Tim Ballard as don't question him, because from what I hear, he's a great guy. All my friends, I'm just using him because he's a known individual in the scene. Well, again, I mean, he's out there helping. So if I found out, for example, he got $100 million to help kids, and he had a $92 million estate, dude, let's just help the kids for no fucking gain other than helping kids. How about that?
Yeah, I love that.
The number one book is The 4 Agreements. Don Miguel Ruiz. As a Man Thinketh.
So good.
And there's a bunch of them, but those two for sure.
Yeah.
And then I think How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it's an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah.
And it ultimately teaches you how to build, connect, and nurture relationships. And I know that the whole thing is about relationships. The whole thing is about relationships.
Yeah.
Like, you need more relationships. If you don't have everything you want in life, 9 times out of 10 it's because you don't know the right people. So if you just knew the right people, you'd have everything you wanted, and you don't. So what does that mean? I don't know the right people. Okay, so who are the right people? And how do you start to meet them and hang around them and get them to know you, more importantly? So to me, How to Win Friends and Influence People will give you the fundamentals to start building relationships, which is ultimately the answer to all your problems.
Yeah.
Relationships, people.
Totally. Yeah, that book made an impact on my life too. What about people? Who are 2 people in your life that have made a pivot in your life, made you change your life?
You know, again, I mean, my wife,
Yeah.
my ex-wife, like, right? You know, people that you would consider, well, those guys are losers. Well, again, them being losers changed my life because I could have been a loser just like them. You know, my dad, you know, family, friends, clients, Grant Cardone's changed, you know, Tony Robbins, of course, you know, Don Miguel Ruiz, you know, George Clausen, like, you know, these, yeah, I mean, all these people changed my life.
Yeah.
So when you say name a few, I mean, are you looking for someone to be like, man, this guy changed my life? I think they all did.
Yeah.
I think my life, and by the way, my life changes daily.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a straight shot, it's a constant thing.
I mean, think about it. We literally change daily.
Every day.
Every day. So again, who changed your life today? And if you're like, really nobody, I would say that you haven't thought about it enough then, because somebody has, somebody will change your life every day, even if it's you.
Right. You changed my life today.
Thank you. And by the way, I would like to answer the one person that's changed my life the most is me.
I love that.
Well, I am.
Yeah.
Because again, I mean, you can tell me all kinds of shit. If I don't do anything with it or I don't do anything about it, then you didn't do shit. Because people call me sometimes, not call me, but they reach out to me and they tell me they changed their life. And they're being sincere. And some of them sometimes in person and their lips are quivering. Like, dude, they're serious when they're saying this. Like, they really think I changed their life. And again, I like to take the compliment so they feel better. And I say, oh, thank you very much and all that. But in reality, I want to argue with them. Because did I or did you? Because the answer is you did. You changed your life. I might have helped you. I might have inspired you, but I didn't do shit. You did. And that's the problem with most people's lives. They don't value themselves. They changed their fucking life and they think I did.
Yeah, the fact is 99% of people who listen to you probably didn't take that advice and go run with it and do the thing, which means it wasn't the advice that changes lives. It's the person's reaction to the advice that changes their life.
100%, which means I technically can't change your life. You can. I can just cause you to change your life, which again, I think that's ultimately what they're saying is, hey, thank you. You did something that made me better. Well, good. I take that compliment and I take that. But in reality, you did it. You changed your life. Now, people can say, Brad, that's just you being humble. No, it's what I truly believe. You can't necessarily change my life unless you like shoot me in the head. You know, you stopped my life. You didn't. Well, I guess you changed it. But you see my point? In other words, a lot of people, when they say you changed my life because you did this, that, and the other thing, I think that inspired or caused. I don't think it actually did. You did. You changed your life. So anybody that wants to give me credit for changing their life, again, know that I'll take it. I'll say, oh, thank you very much. But in reality, dude, I want you to go look in the mirror and ask yourself, did I actually change it or did you actually change it? And the answer is you. And then that hopefully will bring up your self-worth. Because if I could get everybody in the world just to love themselves, this world would instantly be a better place. A lot of the problems we have are because people don't value themselves, they don't love themselves, they don't like themselves, they're insecure, they're jealous, their emotions are down here, their frequencies are low. And you know, my boy Wes Watson, you know, your frequency is what you frequently see. So if you're constantly hanging around negative drug dealing losers, more than likely that's your frequency.
Yeah.
And you're wondering how to get out of it, stop hanging around a bunch of dipshits.
Yeah.
Well, these guys I grew up with, are you telling me I shouldn't hang around my lifelong friends? Those aren't your fucking friends, bro. How would your friend be keeping you down? Your actual friend would not be doing that. An actual friend wants to see you grow and succeed. They would be telling you to put the weed down, not smoking it with you.
Yeah. Yeah, so good, man. I understand why your podcast is called Dropping Bombs. you're man.
So are you gonna come on?
I am.
Good.
Come on. We'll talk about logistics later. I love it. Okay, a couple quick ones. What have you done in the last year that's given you a better life? What have you been doing that's improving your life right now?
Every day I wake up with a thing I call the $1 million morning.
Okay.
And the $1 million morning is because I've realized a long time ago that gratitude is a big factor in, I think, success and abundance and all this. So I had to trick myself in the beginning, but I realized that your morning is crucial.
Yeah.
And the first thing you do when you wake up kind of matters. So the first thing I do when I wake up is realize how valuable the fact that I woke up is. And when people are like, what do you mean by that? Well, like, for example, if I gave you $10 million cash, people would freak out about that. They'd be in a great mood. They'd be running around, hooting and hollering, celebrating, partying, like, yeah, excited.
Yeah.
But if I said, I'll give you the 10 million, but you can't wake up tomorrow, well, then they wouldn't take it, obviously. Why? Well, because they want to wake up. Okay, so you're acknowledging that waking up is worth more than $10 million to you. And people are like, well, yeah, of course it is. Well, then why aren't you acting the same every fucking day? Why don't you wake up with the same enthusiasm you would have if I handed you $10 million? Yeah. Think about that. So again, that's gratitude. So if you can think like that, number one, step one, that's the $1 million morning. Yeah. Number two, there's 4 things that you want to focus on. Number one is your health. Why? Well, because without that, you'll give everything to get it back. Trust me. Yep. The next thing is your relationships. The next thing is your money, basically. And the next thing is your information, your belief system. So I focus on my health by working out, getting blood rate going, or blood flow going, heart rate up. It's easy. It doesn't even take money. If you don't have any money, you can still do it, but focus on your health a little bit. Number 2, focus on your relationships. How do I do that? I write down 5 names of people that I'm going to reach out to during the day and see if they need anything, or if I can help them in any way, or just let them know that I appreciate them or thinking about them. So if you do 5 every single day times 365 days, dude, you're going to have a lot better relationships at the end of that year. So I focus on it every day by just simply texting 5 people or email, sometimes a letter, whatever, 5 people every day. And then I focus on my belief system by reading. I read 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pages every single day, no matter what. And sometimes I'll listen to it, but to me that is reading. And then I'll focus on my money. How? Well, I'll write down 4 or 5 things that I have to focus on today to drive revenue today, because I want to focus on it. Why? Because I want it. And if you focus on shit, it tends to grow and develop. And if you ignore it, it tends to dwindle and die. So a lot of people, they're not focused on money. They're told not to, matter of fact. Or they're just already so entrenched in average that they don't understand that they need to focus on it. Yeah. Like people say, what do you mean, Brad? Well, like you go to work every day for $8 an hour, let's say, and you're dreaming of being rich. Well, then why are you working for $8 an hour? Well, I got to pay my bills. Why do you think you can't pay your bills if you stopped working for $8 an hour? Well, what would I do? Exactly. What would you do? Isn't there anything that you can do that's worth more than $8 an hour? And then people start thinking. And dude, I've had people say, you changed my life because of that. Now I'm a successful entrepreneur because of that. Yeah. Well, no, you changed your life because of that. But that's what I do every single morning. I call it the $1 million morning. So what's changed my life the most in the last year would be consistently waking up, being grateful, focusing on the health, the belief system, the money, and the relationships.
Beautiful. Beautiful, man. All right, let's wrap things up. 2 last questions. What are you excited about right now? And then where do you want them to follow you at?
I mean, you can follow me on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or wherever I'm at. I prefer YouTube.
Okay.
I'm trying to get my YouTube subscription. I mean, I got 1 million on Instagram. Yeah. I got like 2.5 million on TikTok. And it's like, why don't those people on TikTok go follow me on YouTube? It don't make any sense.
Dude, we're the same.
And then Threads just came out. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to Threads. I got like 60,000 on Threads. And I'm like, dude, there's 1 million motherfuckers following me, and now only 60,000 want to hear from me on Threads. It doesn't make any sense. So I even tweeted, or not tweeted, I threaded. Yeah. I threaded. I think Threads is a great way to see how many followers you really have.
Sure.
Because I might have 1 million, but if they're not willing to follow me here, are they followers? I don't think so. And then not to mention, are they real? Well, again, dude, I've never paid for a follower. I've never done a contest or anything. Like, I have built those followers the hard way, the real way. Yep. I'm not necessarily bragging about it. I'm just saying it's the truth. Yep. But look, dude, only 60,000 of them came over to Threads. Are they really followers? I don't get it. I don't get it, dude. So when you say, where should they follow you? Well, if you're new and you've never followed me, start with YouTube.
Yes, YouTube #1.
Then go to Instagram.
And Threads.
Then go to Facebook. Then go to LinkedIn. Then go to TikTok. No, you can go to TikTok earlier if you want. Follow me everywhere.
Everywhere. All right, man. And what are you excited about? What's coming up? Anything cool?
Dude, I'm excited about becoming a better human being. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about tomorrow. I get better every day. And so literally I'm excited about, getting better. I just can't wait to see where I'm going to be in 10 years.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your journey, your spiritual journey, kind of figure out where you end up there. And man, excited for everything, having you here today.
Thank you. Appreciate it. My pleasure, man. Thank you. We done? Is that a wrap?
Man, it's a wrap. Excellent show.
Did we get any sound bites?
Oh, not a one. Dude, I love interviewing podcasters because you just know how to talk. Like some people, it's like pulling out, just trying to get people to say something. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's podcaster. I think it's because I'm not worried. See, there's a lot of people who would never say what I said.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because they're so worried about what everyone else is going to think.
Yeah, I don't want to get canceled.
Dude, if you fucking don't like me or cancel me because of something I believe, well then fuck, that's unfortunate. Now, that doesn't make me stupid either. If someone says, dude, you will get canceled if you say, Biden's a queer. Well, fuck, then I won't say it.
Still recording.
Go ahead and play it, because that I believe. And not that he's a queer, but at the end of the day, I don't like Biden at all.
Does anybody like Biden?
I don't think so, but apparently there is. And by the way, I just saw Hillary Clinton get on Threads, and so I look, and she's like, hey, any advice? And I'm like, well, I'd love to see these comments. So I go and look, dude, and there's people like, oh, thank God you're here, and she was right. And I'm thinking, dude, you gotta be dumb if you don't think there's fucking people that love Hillary Clinton, and there's people that hate her, and there's people that love Biden, and there's people that hate him. So to think that no one likes him, you're an idiot. There's people that like him, but
I think there's a lot of people that like Hillary. I don't think there's as many people that like Biden.
Dude, Hillary's a criminal.
But people love that. Yeah. People love Hillary.
Yeah, but in the way that they like.
She's a criminal.
Yeah, criminal in the way that they like.
In the way that they like it.
Someone asked.
I was one of the first people that messaged you on Threads, actually. I was like, I'll see you Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Somebody, I don't know if it was you or somebody.
It's all me. It's all me.
It was like question mark, and I was like, yeah, that's probably weird.
I don't let anyone talk on social media for me. So like.
What about in DMs?
That's all me.
Interesting.
No one's in my DMs. I'm worried to be in my DMs. You have to have my password. You have my password. You can fuck me somehow.
I know.
I don't want you in my. And by the way, I've never been hacked.
Yeah.
Why? Because no one asked my password.
How do people post on who posts on your behalf?
Mandy, but I trust her.
Yeah.
You got to have trust.
Sure.
But nobody's allowed to go in and by the way, if you call Mandy and say, hey, are you allowed to respond to anything? No comments, no responses. Do not pretend you're me. Only because, dude, like, what if you say something that I don't agree with? I don't like it. I'll respond. If I respond, it's me doing it. That's for sure. You have to be the content. Don't try to think up content. Just be the content. What does that mean? That means you are the content. Don't try to think up what to say and what to do. Get a camera guy or girl, mine's right there, travels with me everywhere but the bathroom and the bedroom.